Artie, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. You have a new book out called Crash and Burn that I just have a million questions about because if anyone read your first bestseller, Too Fat to Fish, the first question is going to be, is this really up like a follow-up to that book or some kind of just continuation where that leaves off with stories about your life and things that happened to you?
In some ways, it's a follow-up. Yeah, it's as chronological as I'll ever get with a book. Unfortunately, what happened right after the end of Too Fat to Fish, and I thought that was going to be a happy ending. And, clearly my wife had other ideas. I tried to be honest with this, and I think hopefully it'll help some people. But it is, a continuation of Too Fat to Fish.
Well, I was going to say, the subject of Crash and Burn, I mean, there's a lot of people that do tell-alls or they do their own little bios and they do stuff like that about their life. What's so unique about this is it is as raw to the bone and as cutting as you can be about your own life in terms of being brutally honest. How hard was it to write this book?
Well, I gotta tell you, it was very hard. It was like therapeutic in some ways, but really, really hard. It was like passing a kidney stone. It was like passing a kidney stone that was worth $800,000 because I got paid well for the book. But it was brutal. And to reread some of it, I do readings. I just did a reading the other night at the Apple store in Soho in New York, and that was hard to fight back, getting emotional. That's all I need is to be on tape crying. That won't go away. That's pain. But that means that hopefully it was done right, and maybe it'll help somebody.
Well, when you were writing it, was the writing process itself like therapeutic, like going through all of that?
Yeah, but a real tough way. Like if someone's had therapy, they sometimes tend to dummy up a little bit. But if you do it long enough and you really sit down and try to write out the story, where you can't get away with mumbling something, you got to say, okay, now this happened, and you're writing it, and you're like, okay, now this happened, and you go, oh man, that's the rock bottom, and then you realize, no, it's not, and you try to keep on writing, and it's hard, but it does become like therapy, and I think in the end it helps you.
Wow. Well, what happened with you was it's so different from so many other celebrities that are out there because you read things in tabloids, you see things. That was going on with you, but a lot of your stuff was so public because a lot of it was going on while you were involved with the Stern Show, and almost to say people saw like a slow meltdown take place over the air, and everyone knows about the epic, meltdown on the Stern Show. So if you had to say what was, they say you don't start making a turnaround and getting better till you hit bottom. What was really the bottom, though? Was it the point when you had the Stern meltdown on the show, or was it something different, some other point?
Well, I think it's the one that a lot of people know about publicly. At my apartment, I tried to kill myself by stabbing myself 9 times. I slit my wrists, drank bleach. I was not in the right mind. I was doing heroin, and I ran out. I was in withdrawals, and the fact that I was on heroin and running out, they understood in a way about me being crazed, and because I had that kind of stuff inside me, I was able to get out of the mental institution after a month, where, some people said after you did what you did, we could keep you here for a year, and a judge would give a review every 2 weeks. So because I was messed up and not thinking clearly, they gave me a break and said, no, you can get out and go to an actual rehab, because the place I was in was brutal. But I stayed. I really have to apologize for my voice, man. I've been doing everything, including my own show and stand-up, so I'm a little hoarse. worse, but that's the deal. Yeah, it was very difficult.
Wow. So now, when, and I know this, it may bring up painful memories or whatever, but when that suicide took place, because this is a lot of importance to other people, there's a lot of people that get to this point in this brink, and there's different paths you can go, and sometimes people, they attempt suicide, whether it's swallowing pills, doing whatever. Yours was such like a different method, brutal. Most people think when they're going to commit suicide, I'm going to swallow a bottle of pills, I'm going to hang myself in the room. How did it get that you took a knife to stab yourself? Was it really like you were doing, like crying out more like, well, I won't be able to kill myself using a knife. I'll stab myself and I'll be found and then maybe I could get on with life? Do you think that was the reason you did it that way rather than a different way?
I think ultimately, yeah, I think, I know enough crazy people in Jersey where I could have gotten access to a gun if I really wanted to do it. I could have jumped off a building. I'll tell you, I really was scared if I jumped off a building I was going to fall on somebody and kill them. That would have been terrible. No, I think, yeah, the way I did it, especially with my stomach, if I had abs, I'd be dead right now. I mean, I had thank God I'm a fat guy, but I think ultimately, and that's what the doctors thought as well, which gets you out of a mental institution quicker. Wasn't really wanting to die. It was saying, hey, look, guys, I need some help. But in a way, I feel there was a big part of me that I woke up and I was dead, if you do wake up.
Well, I mean, when I first heard it, it was so shocking. We were like, wow, we hope Artie pulls through because, I love you. You're one of the funniest guys out there, and you're real, which is great. There's not many real comics out there. And it was like, when I heard it, I was like, that wouldn't be the way you would kill yourself if you really were trying to off yourself. There's so many other ways that are easy, where it's not graphic or, openly painful like that. If you're high already as it is, just swallow a bunch of pills and you're done. It's like, to me, when I heard it, I was like, Artie is just, that he wants to live and get on with stuff, and I'm glad it went that way. But now when you try to commit suicide, a lot of people have paranormal experiences or out-of-body experiences. Did anything like that happen with you?
No, I wish. Believe me, I'd love to have been out of my body for a little while. That would have been great. But no, I did not have that happen. I basically passed out from blood eventually, and I lost some blood, and I woke up in an intensive care unit in a hospital in Jersey City. And the first person I saw was Robin Quivers. She had come to visit me. This was a few days later, and it was so nice to see Robin. She was very thoughtful for the her and Tim Sabian, who was our program director, and they were very sweet to come, and it helped my morale a lot,
Oh, that's great. Well, let me ask you on that, because, Stern has been a big part of your life. You were there for probably a decade or more. What part and role did Howard Stern, his whole staff, like you said, Robin, it seemed like, we listen on air. It seems like you guys have, such a closeness and a lot of affection for each other. But again, in these days, you listen to shows, you watch TV or other things you don't know. You watch The View with Barbara Walters and them. You don't know if they really hate each other or like each other because it's just to do the show. But on Stern, it really seems genuine affection. Like it really seems you and you and Howard are like brothers, and it seems to that level. Is it really like that? Describe that relationship.
Howard and I was there 8.5 years, and at the peak of that, Howard and I became very close. We would double date with our girls, and we'd talk on the phone, and you go through battles together on the air or wars, and you have so much fun, you laugh, and yeah, we became what I'd call good friends. But when somebody does something so severe like what I did, a lot of friends don't understand it. They don't know what happened. Sometimes they worry that maybe they did something wrong, which in this case cannot be further from the truth. And, it just puts a strain on our relationship. And we are friendly. When we've talked, he couldn't be more supportive or nice, but we're not friends like we used to be. And that, to me, is one of the major sacrifices that I've had to go through to get better. But Howard's happy I'm okay, and I'm happy I'm okay, but my life is different.
What's the if someone was going to pick up this book, and particularly after doing it, if you read through too fat to fish. What would be the most shocking revelation, other than the suicide attempt we just discussed? Like if someone picked up the new book, Crash and Burn, and they were like, holy cow, I can't believe this, because I know it's going to be shocking revelation after shocking revelation that's going to make people's heads spin. But if you had to pick one that people really don't know a lot about, like people all know about the suicide attempt, if you're going to pick one that people don't know about, what would it be?
Right, well, when you do something like suicide attempts and you're in the public eye, people find out about it. I think what they'll find most shocking is the fact that I got addicted to one thing more than anything, and that's money. And I really sort of show you how you got to be careful. You got to get addicted to the money. If you didn't grow up with much of it like I was, and you get offered, 60 grand, 70 grand a weekend for a night of work, a couple shows, and then you get the money that night. It destroys you. It slowly, methodically kicks your ass. And I think admitting to being addicted to the money more than anything else is what can be surprising. More than heroin, more than booze, more than gambling, wanting more cash for not necessarily dope, but it certainly was on the list without question.
Well, that's real interesting. Do you think a lot of the younger performers today that we always read about in the papers going through all these kind of episodes, is they're going through that same thing, being so young and just having that kind of money that people can't fathom being thrown at them, that they then have access to anything they want?
Yes, that hurts. Show business itself is an enabler because, sometimes bad behavior gets rewarded. We're like, we don't care. We just want you to keep being funny. Can you be funny? Tell a story about being in rehab. Can you be funny when you tell a story about being a mental institution? And I'm like, yeah. And I have wall-to-wall stories and answers. And it was just, a harrowing time that I got through.
Wow. Well, they say from the deepest pains, like Richard Pryor always said, his comedy comes from a deep place where it's full of pain and agony, and it produces his best comedy. You think having, rode the rocky waves all this time and surviving the suicide and getting past all the drug addiction and everything, that now, your head is at a different place where the comedy is just going to be off the charts, like the old Artie we knew and loved and we were waiting to see again. Is that what we can expect?
Yeah, that's the game plan. The stand-up I've been doing for the last 2 years, clean and sober, is the best work I've ever done, and I'm proud of it. I'm talking about the nutty times, but I'm doing it in a sober way, and again, that hopefully will be a cautionary tale and help some people. I'm trying to be brutally honest with it, even though it's, a tough subject. I'm trying to be honest with punchlines in the stand-up. In the book, I try to get some humor in there, but really lay it out to what people go, hey, that's a good job, and hopefully people will benefit from it.
Well, this has been a more serious conversation than just like trying to riff with you about your comedy and things like that. So let's try to lighten it up a bit. Let's hear one of the funny stories or a happy story that people may not know about, something either behind the scenes with Stern or some other really happy story you could share with us that you experienced that a lot of people won't know about.
Well, I went to Amsterdam for a 5-day bachelor party, and I got a hooker, and she turned out to be a fantastic tour guide. I called her a whore guide. That was my nickname. And
You may start a new form of business now for Amsterdam.
whore guide, tell me about it. I gotta make sure I get paid. I had under patent, whore guide. I was 22 years old, had a heavy Amsterdam, accent, and I'm telling you, she knew everything about that city. She showed me Rembrandt's house, and she showed me Anne Frank's house. It was so moving and touching, and it was so I recommend that in Amsterdam. The best
They're going to have to add that to the Liberty Travel Tour list for sure. Okay, let's play a quick game of word association. Whatever your gut reaction is to this comes, just blurt out a word, a statement, whatever it is. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, beer league.
Fun.
Abs of steel.
Say it again?
Abs of steel.
Hooker.
Marriage.
Fear.
President Obama.
Healthcare.
Having children.
Fear.
Money.
Healthcare.
Drugs.
Fun. Then
Howard.
fun.
Oh, okay. Howard Stern.
Hero.
Artie Lang, everybody. Artie, thank you for joining us on the show. We got to get you back when we can just have you riff on your comedy and talk about you and Norm Macdonald and the movies. And just real quick, anything you got coming up that, other than the book, which everyone should go out and buy immediately, anything else you got coming up, projects or places you're playing where we could tell people to go and see you?
I'm taping a special in New York City sometime in April, my third stand-up special. So look for that airing in the summer sometime.
Awesome. Everybody, check it out. They're always fantastic and always funny. Artie Lang, everybody. Thanks, Artie.
Thank you
Artie,
so
thank
much.
you so